They called it the Spanish prisoner, a timeless con that still ensnares victims today. For centuries, the promise of hidden riches has lured the unwary. The Spanish prisoner scam, a masterclass in psychological manipulation, isn't just a relic of history, it's the foundational blueprint for virtually every advance fee fraud you encounter online today. Its core mechanics remain chillingly effective. Picture this, the late 19th century. A letter arrives, often from a distant, exotic land, perhaps Spain. It's elegantly penned, urgent, and deeply conspiratorial. The sender claims to be a wealthy individual, unjustly imprisoned, and in desperate need of assistance. The core narrative is always consistent. The imprisoned noble has a vast fortune, perhaps millions, hidden away. But to access it, they need a small sum alone for bribes, legal fees, or to facilitate their escape. This initial request is the bait, seemingly a minor investment for an astronomical return. The psychological hooks are expertly placed. There's the appeal to greed, certainly, but also to altruism. The victim is cast as a hero, a confidante, the only one who can help this unfortunate soul reclaim their rightful inheritance. This builds a powerful emotional connection, a sense of shared secret. Another crucial element, the hook itself. Often, there's a beautiful daughter, a señorita, who needs to be rescued or protected. The victim is promised her hand in marriage, or at least a significant portion of the recovered fortune as a reward. Romance and riches, a potent cocktail. The scam's evolution through the centuries mirrors technological advancement. From handwritten letters to telegrams, then faxes, and eventually the internet. The medium changes, but the message and the underlying human vulnerabilities it exploits remain disturbingly constant. Let's examine a specific historical example. In the late 1890s, police in London and Paris were inundated with reports. Letters arrived from Spanish noblemen or imprisoned generals, each pleading for help. The sums requested were typically small at first, perhaps a few hundred francs or pounds. One notable case involved a wealthy British merchant, Mr. Arthur Jenkins, in 1902. He received a letter from a Count de Valois, supposedly imprisoned after a political coup. The Count claimed to have £500,000 hidden and needed £500 for his escape. Jenkins, eager for a massive return, sent the money. Of course, more requests followed. There were unexpected legal complications, bribes to hire officials, and travel expenses. Each request was accompanied by increasingly elaborate stories and promises of imminent release and repayment. Jenkins found himself trapped in a spiraling commitment. He ultimately lost over £5,000, a princely sum at the time, before realizing the deception. This wasn't an isolated incident. Thousands of similar cases illustrate the sheer scale and effectiveness of the Spanish prisoner model across Europe and even into America. The anatomy of the modern advance fee scam, often called 419 fraud after the section of the Nigerian criminal code it violates, is virtually identical. An unsolicited email arrives, promising millions a deceased relative's inheritance, an oil deal, a lottery win. The imprisoned noble has been replaced by a Nigerian prince, a Syrian general, or a bank manager in distress. The hidden fortune is now a legacy account or unclaimed funds. The legal fees are transfer charges or anti-terrorism certificates. The language updates, the core remains. The promise of an enormous return for a small outlay is the central lure. And just as with Mr. Jenkins, once the first payment is made, the victim is drawn into a cycle of escalating demands. Each payment is justified by new, urgent, and increasingly convoluted reasons. The love interest element also persists. Many online dating scams, often called romance scams, begin with a similar setup. A seemingly perfect partner appears, often claiming to be abroad, perhaps in the military or working on an oil rig. Soon, an urgent financial crisis arises. They need money for medical emergencies, travel, or to escape a dangerous situation. The emotional bond, carefully cultivated over weeks or months, makes the victim highly susceptible. They're not just sending money, they're helping someone they love. The scammer's genius lies in their understanding of human psychology. They leverage hope, greed, and altruism. They create a sense of urgency and exclusivity, making the victim feel chosen, special, part of an elite secret. They also exploit the sunk cost fallacy. Once a victim has invested time, emotion, and money, it becomes incredibly difficult to walk away. Admitting it's a scam means admitting they've been foolish and that their initial investment is lost. The hope of recovery drives further payments. The Spanish Prisoner is a stark reminder that human nature, with its desires and vulnerabilities, remains constant. Technology merely provides new avenues for ancient deceptions. The con artist's toolkit is primarily psychological, not technological. How do we protect ourselves? The first rule is timeless. If it sounds too good to be true, it almost certainly is. Legitimate opportunities rarely arrive unsolicited and demand upfront fees for a massive, guaranteed return. Secondly, verify. Independent verification is paramount. Don't rely on information provided by the sender. A quick search, a phone call to a reputable authority, or consulting a trusted friend can often reveal the deception. Finally, be wary of emotional manipulation. Scammers prey on our empathy, our loneliness, our desire for connection. Acknowledge these emotions, but let logic guide your financial decisions. Never send money to someone you've only met online and never in person. The Spanish Prisoner scam, born in an era of horse-drawn carriages and gas lamps, continues to thrive in our digital age. It's a testament to the enduring power of human desire and the cunning of those who exploit it. Unravel more such historical deceptions and their modern echoes in our next investigation.